Good evening, PVFL. This is your host, John Gillespie, for your weekly podcast, Commissioner's Corner, the KAEP, where we promise to make you a smarter fantasy football player, but a much dumber person. Quick shout out to our producer, Pete Serber, for making this thing possible. Guys, another wild week 8 in the PVFL. So we have a lot to discuss, fellas, so let's get right into it with our game of the week, possibly game of the year. What a thriller. The Monday Night Monster strikes again on Halloween, even though we don't celebrate, by the way. The Chief versus Secret Squirrel. Congratulations to the Monday Night Monster himself, pulling out another Monday night victory over Secret Squirrel. The score was 137.2 to 129.4. If you guys remember, last week Pedro was down basically 20 points going into Monday night with a kicker left. And guess what? His kicker scores 21 points, I believe, and he wins that game over me. I'm still a little bitter about that. And then tonight, or last night, he was down by 38 points with Travis Kelce and Harrison Butker, the butt kicker himself. And he pulls out the victory. Guys, no lead is safe if you're facing Pedro going into Monday night, because he is the Monday Night Monster. Pedro's top performer by a tenth of a point was Zeke the Freak Elliott, 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, and tuned to 26.4 points. I know you guys have been following the thread. As of now, Zeke Elliott is suspended for the next 6 games, which means his first game he'll be eligible will be in the second round of the playoffs. So this is a huge blow for the Monday Night Monster himself. I mean, he had won 5 straight games, but without Zeke the Freak, it severely hurts his title chances. Secret Squirrel's top performer was Melvin Gordon, 132 yards and a touchdown and 20.9 fantasy points. Guys, Melvin Gordon is a stud. Not only is he the feature back in a decent offense, but he's also a pass-catching monster. He catches a lot of receptions. So in PPR, that is gold in a running back. So good things to come for Secret Squirrel. So Pedro's record is 6-2. Secret Squirrel 3-5. Moving on to the next game on the tally, What's Cooking versus the Silent Ones. What's Cooking comes out on top, 115.2 to 89.9 for Ivan Rodriguez. Austin's top performer was Deion Washington, 26 rushing yards, a receiving touchdown. Guys, a vast majority of Washington's points came in garbage time on that last drive. But hey, in fantasy football, there's no such thing as garbage time. All points are equal. It doesn't matter how or when you get them. So congratulations, Austin, for that start. Good call. And for the Silent Ones, his top performer was Marvin Jones, 6 catches and 128 yards, in tune to 18.8 fantasy points. So that makes Austin Bennett 6-2 and has a firm hold on the second seed in that first round bye. Ivan Rodriguez, the Silent Ones, are 2-6. Moving on. The next game on the tally, guys, the upset of the week. Congratulations to the Little Lamb, narrowly squeaking out this victory, 100.9 over the number 1 overall seed, Orange Crush, 99.4. Ethan, your top performer was Russell Wilson. He was nothing short of spectacular. 452 yards and 4 touchdowns, in tune to 35.1 fantasy points. What a beast, man. The Seattle Seahawks. You guys remember back in the day when the Seahawks used to run the ball and play defense, that ground and pound offense? Guys, that is not the Seattle team anymore. They are slinging it. They have an aerial attack that is prolific in scoring points. Orange Crush's top performer, it was Mark Ingram. 75 yards, a touchdown, and 2 fumbles, in tune to 17.9 fantasy points. Guys, fun fact: Orange Crush is 6-2. His 2 losses came against the Little Lamb and the Silent Ones. So it seems like Orange Crush is playing down to his competition. Not very good if you want to win a title there, buddy. Alright guys, congratulations. Ethan Lopez's record, the Little Lamb, is 3-5. He is back in the playoff mix. Orange Crush is still a #1 seed. First round bye at 6-2. Although Belichick yourself is gaining ground at 5-3. Moving on to the next game on the tally. Speaking of Belichick yourself, he comes out on top here in this matchup. 164.3. That's right, you heard that here. 164.3 to 111.2 for the Killer Bealers. Guys, Belichick yourself's top performer was DeAndre Hopkins. 8 catches, 224 yards, and a touchdown, in tune to 36.4 fantasy points. Guys, Hopkins was drafted in the 6th round. He is the #1 scoring receiver in the league in fantasy. What a steal. Could be the draft of the year as far as that pick in the 6th round. Killer Bealer's top performer was Juju Smith-Schuster. 7 catches, 193 yards, and a touchdown. I know we all saw that 97-yard touchdown grab from Juju from Big Ben. So, what a catch and what a play. Killer Bealers falls to 2-6. Belichick yourself, improves to 5-3. Moving on. Speaking of I love TDs, good nice picture by the way, Peter. Congratulations to I love TDs. He is back firmly in the playoff mix. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. His top performer was Jimmy Graham. 4 catches, 39 yards, and 2 touchdowns, in tune to 19.9 fantasy points. And the Thirsty King keeps on sliding here, guys. His 4th straight loss. His top performer was AJ Green. 3 catches, 27 yards, and a touchdown, into 11.7 fantasy points. Alright guys, those are the matchups of the week. Those are all the games. Now, let's talk about our playoff brackets and talk about the playoff moves. Firmly in the #1 seed is Juan Guzman and the Orange Crush at 6-2. Then at the #2 seed, 6-2, Austin Bennett. The 3 seed, he got 6-2, Pedro Guzman, the Chief. The 4th seed is Belichick yourself at 5-3. The 5th seed is I Love TDs, Pete Serpa, 4-4. If you guys remember the last couple of years, Pete always starts off slow and comes on hot at the end of the year. Will Pete make a run? If history repeats itself, that means a yes. He right now is at 4-4 and firmly 1 game ahead of everyone else for a playoff spot. And Secret Squirrel is at 3-5. No, she is technically right now the 6th seed. The Thirsty King is 3-5 also. And also is the Little Lamb. So we have a 3-way tie for the 3rd and final playoff spot, guys. So the playoff race is heating up. I know in the next coming weeks, one of the games to look out for will be What's Cooking versus the Chief. That will be for the #2 seed, most likely, and for the first round bye. So something to keep your eyes on, guys. Eyes on, fellas. Also, coming up this week, we also have Belichick yourself versus Secret Squirrel. Secret Squirrel needs a win badly after suffering a crushing defeat to the Chief and the Monday Night Monster himself. So those are some storylines to look forward to, guys. Now, Pete Serpa's next opponent, let's look it up real quick. He's playing Killer Bealers this week, so it seems to me that Peter Serpa has a good chance of fortifying his playoff position. What about Little Lamb? Let's see what his next opponent is. Week 9. Oh, he's playing the Thirsty King. So this is a battle for playoff positioning. One of these teams will be 4-5. The other one will be 3-6. I'm pretty sure 3-6 will really make it hard to make the playoffs at that point. So must win for Ethan and Ethan. And then last but not least, a silent. No, that's it. And Thirsty King, bam, right there. So that covers your playoff implications, guys, and your playoff storylines. Keep your eyes posted here to get the latest and greatest scoops, guys. Again, that's all I have for this evening, fellas. This is your host, John Gillespie, for your weekly podcast, Commissioner's Corner. Pete Serpa, again, thank you so much for all the work you do for this podcast. We appreciate it. Until next time, everyone,